Okay. Okay. So yeah, Rilcon knocked on the door. There was a brief conversation, and then he opened the door, and Ekris is on the other side. Yeah, she's a copper dragonborn, a little bit on the short side, longer horns, got ink stains on her left hand from doing all the writing and whatnot she has to do. An administrator. Um, Seems like she wasn't really expecting company, but like Relcon was talking to her for a little bit, and no, I think you're. It sounds like you're referencing somebody specific, and I don't know who
Sorry,
that is.
sorry. That's just like a trope of like the hardworking receptionist.
Oh. The line immediately vanishes. No one shall ever know.
Yeah.
I must hide my shame. I will always be funny. I can delete your comment too, Gaster. I have the power.
So she looks back, looks at the lot of you, and seems to look around her office in a bit of a sudden state, like, oh no, this is a very small office. Black people who might be coming in here.
It's okay. Dax will just kind of hang out outside.
Griv will give that awkward wave, like, hey, we're here. We need help.
I'm gonna stand outside too. I don't care.
Okay.
But he's gonna peek through for a sec to see what does she have in the room.
Oh, what?
No, that's not good.
No, like it looks like he's just like peeking in, like looking around. That's not socially out of place.
Everyone raises their eyebrow at Ran. Just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it just looks like they're a series of. It's a fairly small office, not because it's like a super small area, but because it was already not a super large room, and it's got a bunch of like file boxes in it. There's a desk that's kind of pushed to the back. She's got like a small container of some kind of beverage and a cup on her desk. It looks like a relatively relatively sparse room, but sparse just because she's like cleaned it up.
Okay. Is Mittens here with us? Is Mittens here with us?
Mittens?
Yeah.
No, Mittens is back at the house.
Oh, I thought Relkan
didn't want to like take his cat like walking around town. Doesn't want to have something like spook her and she runs off or something like that.
Oh yeah, true.
Well, then I'm just... He's not going to steal someone's cat.
Oh well, I'm just gonna wait outside.
she looks across at all of you, seems to size you up for a second. On what exactly?
Map.
Okay, so yeah, you or Relcon or whoever was holding it takes out the map and spreads it across the table, and yeah, it's fairly sizable compared to the size of her desk. I'm probably going to want it to be at a little bit of a smaller scale than this. I'm going to want to reference it properly. She kind of like moves it a little bit, like tries to shift it to the side vertically. One of the ends droops off the back of the desk.
Well, that's if she would have the time to do it. How busy does her work area look like? Just documentation and the like.
It looks fairly busy, but in the sense that it's like, that she's got things every day that she needs to do. From what Relcon was telling you, she's in charge of a lot of like resource coordination, and the actual like resources caravans that have been coming in with things haven't showed up for a while yet. So at this point, it's more of a like, she needs to spend a good portion of her time like tracking things and keeping records of who sold what to who when. So yeah, there are some points when she'd probably have like a big workflow, but not for a few months right now. It might be a bit of a squeeze, but and she'll tell you as much. Like it might be a day or two before there's enough spare time in her schedule to get it finished to a presentable state, but yeah, it's definitely doable.
Yes, unfortunately, jobs do seem to take up quite a bit of time. I mean, so we can notice that she does the inventorying and cross-referencing of supplies and similar stuff being distributed around town. I would almost offer that we could verify some of this information for you if you haven't got the time to do it all yourself, and perhaps speed up the copying of this map for us. We'd be extremely grateful.
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of this is just me keeping all the records people have already sent me organized and everything. But if you want to go and double check and make sure everything's in the proper order and everything, I would appreciate that. It means there's less chance of a discrepancy.
Absolutely. And if does any of this happen to need to go to Mayor Brunswick at all as well? Just any reports you need to file to him directly that we could possibly run for you? I mean, just whatever we can do to assist to possibly get this map completed. With whatever.
No, the mayor doesn't need to know the day-to-day sorts of things. I send reports to him plenty of times when there are the the shipments coming in, when there are people settling, things like that. But if it's just people sending me records of how many things they bought when their things moved in and out of the warehouses, that's not something he needs to see most of the time.
Fair enough, I
If
suppose.
if you're wanting to talk to him, it's about half an hour until he usually has a scheduled dinner, and you could go in for company. Maybe not all 5 of you, but I'm sure that. I mean, I've eaten dinner at the same time as him before at the same table, and he seems fairly welcoming of company. I don't know him that well, but
Yes, I've had a couple of rather pleasant conversations with him, and I just figured if there's any assistance we could possibly provide, especially with sort of knowing him well enough for to assist you at least, and I mean just offering services well enough to at least quicken this copy that we request done. But all in all, we can do the verification that you've mentioned, and I mean whatever you may feel is proper compensation on your end to exude your resources to copy this map, we'd happily oblige.
I haven't had to use any of this information for a while. Why were you wanting to copy this? It's very out of date.
Well, we've just been scouting the areas recently, and we've noticed upon these buildings from the remaining settlement of Cromel, and we're just double checking to ensure that a proper, thorough search is done of the area of any possible grung activity that we've been trying to sort of nip in the bud, as it were.
Most of these are probably going to be in a pretty poor state for any grung to be in. I mean, I'm not an ecologist or anything, but from what I remember from all the reports I saw, all but a couple of them were completely unsalvageable. Like this one, she points at one of the ones where there was there's just like an X, not a circle around it scribbled out or anything. There's just an X. This one had the floor just completely caved in, like the foundation broke up. I went there at one point, just for when I was first moving in. I got lost. Why am I telling you all this? I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't go in. I just, I found it, went around, saw the state of it. I made some notes about it, but they had already, they already had all this information down before I got here, but yes, there are a couple of these that were built to last might be the wrong sort of term, but built in a way that would have let them be workable afterward. I'm and Relcon will chime in here for a bit, if you don't mind. So what it was essentially is that some of them were built just out of stronger stuff, out of stone or out of an architecture that would have allowed them to survive the spell plague and all the natural disasters and whatnot that were going on around here. Still technically restorable, possibly livable, but not in any sort of state where we could build the town around. So everything was just moved back here to this position. It was, flatter, a little more possibility for there to be freedom of movement through the area. We needed to start from scratch, but it's better than trying to build a couple of these back up. And Ekris nods and is trying to like write down the map key in the corner. Do you want all of these symbols preserved here, or do you just want markers? Like, do you just want a marker of like a building is there and there and there and there?
I prefer to keep it as close to the original as possible. Just so we have the original surveys notation to it, and just anything we can possibly use. I mean, it's just your standard investigation type, just working everything we possibly can.
All right. She finishes her glass of her beverage and puts the glass on the floor, like far enough away from where her feet are that she's not gonna kick it over, and seems to be starting on a little bit of like preliminary stuff, like not really in the sense that like she's just suddenly going to immediately get to work right away on this, but in the sense of, you know, if she's going to pick this up later in a couple of hours, then she's got the map key written down and the scales and everything. It's going to be a lot easier to work with.
Well, I suppose we'll leave you to it then. Thank you for your time. And I think we could leave now.
Dinner time.
I like dinner. So yeah, let's go dinner. Oh
Air
yeah.
Brunswick.
Oh.
Right.
And I'm just assuming through the conversation she might have motioned to a pile of documents that need just cross-referencing or just verification. And I'm just going to take that with me to begin at least my end of this agreement. I need a filing cabinet. Do they even build those in these times?
Yeah. She's got some file boxes to have the files organized in. You can see that there are like some tabs up to keep everything in a proper, not alphabetical order, but in an order. They're pretty big boxes, but they were meant to hold a lot of files. So. What was your comment? Sorry?
I'm up for helping if anything needs done here.
Well, there are a few request and submission forms and everything that I'm going to need transcribed over to a larger list. Do any of you know Halfling or Draconic?
I do.
I know Halfling.
I know Halfling as well. I might know Draconic, I think I do, actually.
Kriv like points over to Daxmir's like, don't you know both?
Traxter's not in the room.
Oh yeah, you sit outside. Dang it.
Yeah, I don't even in the room too. Why am I?
Yeah, Jamie knows both of them.
Okay, so yeah, she gestures Damien toward a set of different forms.
Okay. He'll probably start like looking through them and ask her like what he wants, what he wants her to do about them, do with them.
So they're a collection of forms that are basically intended to be sent back to the commission for like, here's how things have been going, here's how the people who've moved in like they've been moved into this area around this time, and for this kind of expansion we'd like this number of people of this kind of category and everything like that. So yeah, a lot of it that she's wanting you to do is just like, there are a bunch of different separate reports that she's collected or compiled or gotten from people's requests that she's going to want have made into like single documents that she can send back without it being just like a big box full of papers.
Okay. He'll get started on that. It's like I can do this.
The real Dungeons and Dragons experience. Paperwork.
Paperwork.
So like some of them are gonna stay and like do paperwork right now.
Well, if everybody if somebody goes to the dinner and Damien is doing paperwork, I'm going to look for the closest tavern and drinks there.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
turning into Polton.
Princess Bolton. No.
Oh yeah.
As long as they don't as long as Rand doesn't start breaking the fourth wall, I think we're fine.
Right.
All right. So they don't have a dedicated like bar or anything, but they have like an eatery. They have like an eatery area that does serve alcoholic beverages. They're fairly expensive comparatively because they have to have them like shipped in special because they don't have a whole lot of the resources to like brew their own, at least that's any good here. But yeah, just like, you know, give them a gold piece or two and you can have office work. Yeah, just give them like, I'm gonna say 1 gold. That's fine. Give them 1 gold, and they'll give you, you know, a decent amount of alcoholic beverages if you want. Like the bartender is probably gonna like look askance at you if you're like, here, it's like 10 gold or whatever. But you know, if you just wanted to go in there and have something to drink.
Okay, I'll drink it. And does this eatery seems crowded?
What was that?
Does the eatery is crowded or?
I mean, it's around dinner time, so there are several people who are coming in here and ordering food, and there are a couple of halfling chefs in the back who are preparing things. It seems like you notice a couple of things that are being prepared are like plants and animals you recognize from the forest. So it seems like part of the reason why all this was like terraformed properly in the first place was so that they could have the things out here that they need to be self-sustaining properly. Like there's a kind of sautéed fruit that's brought out to a halfling who's sitting on the other end of the bar from you. He starts eating it kind of fairly loudly. He's a very loud chewer, but there's a pretty decent amount of people in here. Dinner.
If that's the case, I will ask the bartender if bartender or the serve.
I mean, you're sitting up at the bar. You can like talk to the bartender, and he'll talk to the chefs.
I will ask them. Can I do some, harmonica performance to raise some money? And I'll do
nothing official, but give
persuasion.
it a shot.
So okay. Am I okay? Is it okay or no?
As long as, I mean, as long as you're good at it.
Okay. Then I pick up a chair, and I stand on top of it. I then sing. I don't sing. No sing. No. I'm gonna play my harmonica and places something to hold all the coins that they might give to me.
All right, so you open up your harmonica case and you put it on the ground.
Yeah, it's just like that.
The tiny box.
So performance check.
Yeah, performance check.
What harmonica has a case?
Oh no!
So you start playing, and you're trying to make everything work. It's the first time you've like played in public before. You're trying to get a bit of a movement going, a bit of a like trying to draw attention. This wasn't a scheduled event. You want people to notice you're here. You tip a little too far back. You fall off of the chair you were standing on, and just like land on the ground. Your foot catches the chair as you fall, and it like flips over and lands on top of you. The halfling at the bar who was eating the fruit starts clapping. Good job! Good show! Do it again!
Do it again.
He looks embarrassed for a second, but then a light bulb just popped in his head. If you are slightly entertained, would you please give me some coin, maybe? And then I started to come
That's
at you.
okay. You top that?
Yeah, I will. And I started doing the same thing.
You just no, not like do the same thing. Like, can you do something else that's more impressive than falling on the ground?
On the ground board.
Can I do tap dance? Maybe. Yeah, I'll do tap dance.
All right, do another performance check.
I
You're magically really good at tap dancing.
All right. So you just get up, like spin the chair around, and just start going into this choreographed dance routine that, or at least it seems choreographed. Like you're probably just like coming up with this, and then just going with what seems immediately apparent. The halfling at the bar seems confused, and then impressed, and then confused again, and then kind of satisfied. He looks back at the bartender. Reg, that was just 1 gold, right? A basic set of drinks? Yeah, my tab.
Oh, thanks. And
One drink.
Well, no,
And,
it's a collection of drinks. Like 1 gold for just like a number of drinks of a certain set or of a certain duration. There's a menu
Oh, that's
duration.
cool. That's better than one drink.
Yeah. No, it'd be like a couple of copper for a drink.
oh, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, you've got effectively for doing a good job, you paid for the drinks, and now you've got your gold back. So good job. You did it.
Yay. I'm gonna speak to the halfling in halflings. Oh, thanks, matey. Thanks, mate. You don't have to do this.
He squints for a second. Ahoy!
And then I pick up my drinks and then says to him, "Cheers." And then drinks it.
Pirate's life for me. So is Rad at like the tavern where, or like the inn where like we're staying where Connor is? Or was he somewhere else?
Yeah, it's in a eatery at the administration building.
It's an eatery. It's down the street from where Connor's place is. Connor's
Okay.
place is for like visiting people from the settlement commission, or for if agents like yourselves come along, or if somebody else is coming in, passing through. It's for you stay there, you sleep. It's a place to be. It's so that they can be sure that there's a room. And this is just a place where food is prepared by people who came down here to specially make the stuff. It's the town restaurant. I don't know why I put it in so many words, other than because I wanted to put in a lot. Which I guess is a good enough reason. Exactly.
Ooh.
He hates pictures. Yeah, I hate paint.
Now back to Damien and friends. It just
New sitcom.
Damien and friends. No.
That would be a great sitcom.
Yeah. What about all the guys on the administration building? Huh?
sorry. I was just trying to get something settled there for a second. Sorry, it's been a couple of times today when I've had to do that. Not the coughing part at the end, but oh wow, I had not taken stock of the time. We spent longer in out of character discussion than. No, it's fine.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Sorry. So are we going to
I
end
said
the
no, it's
news?
fine again, like so quietly it didn't even look like Discord picked it up. So just like an awkward pause there for a while.
So are we going to end this session?
I mean, we can keep going for a little bit if there's like something somebody else wants to do, or if like people are capable of staying for longer. But if
Since I need to go pretty soon, I just have like couple more things I'm gonna do.
okay,
I'm gonna head
Okay.
out though. I mean,
all right,
Damien's just working on the
yeah,
paperwork.
you're gonna be there doing some work, helping Ekris out. After everything's over, going and like maybe talking to Relcon for a little bit more as an excuse to touch his cat's soft fur.
Yeah.
Cat.
and any excuse to play with Mittens, Damien will take.
Okay. Sorry, I was just. Are you staying going? You going, Damien?
I'm going, sorry. I'm just
Okay.
gonna.
Good
Yeah.
night.
Bye.
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 Well, Daxmir was very quietly not volunteering to do paperwork. So, he's actually gonna head. Well, actually, since it is probably right. Well, I mean, are we getting close to sunset? You said it was dinner time and it's fall. So,
Yeah,
he'll
yeah, it's getting close to the end of the day.
Okay. Well, then he actually will head over to the temple, and he doesn't like need to go talk to anybody. He just like does his evening prayers over there, just because like he's kind of been doing it catch as catch can, since he got here. So he'll do it over there. It only takes a few minutes. And then if nobody approaches him, he'll head back to the tavern and just like have dinner. And that's about it.
So, yeah, as you're sitting there meditating and everything, near the end of it, you do you close your eyes when you meditate, or do you?
Probably.
Okay. So near the end of it, you hear somebody like moving in close to you, and then stopping and sitting down. And at the end of your meditation, you notice Doros sitting nearby. He's reading a book, and upon noticing you were done, he closes it, puts it down, and looks back over at you. Right now, you two are the only ones in the immediate area of the temple. Toriel seems to spend most of her time like out and about town doing other things, unless there's like actively services that need to be done. And Horace and Glennis are probably like out getting dinner at this point. So it's just you two there. So did you find anything?
We did find something. We've got some more investigating to do. And he'll smile.
Ah, being secretive about it. Okay, I understand. I'd sort of, From the beginning, I thought I was kind of an insider on this, but all right, I get it. He seems a little disappointed. Gets up.
Well, Jackson kind of gets up from where he's sitting on the floor. He probably like if there's statues of like the different gods there, he'd probably just be like sitting in front of the one of Bahamut, and he gets up, says, "There's this looks like it might be bigger than I thought it was at first. Might be a few more people involved than I thought there were. But once we've been out there to look around a little more, I'll let you know."
Okay. Just realize this is a. I realize this is a real tense situation here, but I don't know. He taps the tips of his fingers together. I just sort of wanted to be involved. Haven't gotten to do a lot of like big deal things, and I mean,
Jackson will nod like he gets that, absolutely. Well, I mean, I came down here to, he kind of thinks about what he's about to say for a moment. I mean, mostly what I had in mind was basically just like being a bodyguard for the people who would be doing the intriguey sort of stuff. I didn't expect to be doing that part of it myself. Not really my cup of tea.
well, I mean, being a representative of a deity is all about crusading and doing their will in the world and everything. And if things are all messed up and there's apparently undead going around, and I mean, I don't mean to speak for your tenants or anything, but seems like this is the right sort of position. I'm trying to be encouraging. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all right. If Doris is over there, he'll kind of give him a pat on the shoulder. He's like, I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
And he'll kind of nod and head out to go find something to eat.
All right. So yeah, you show up to the local eatery and you see Ran and a halfling sitting at the bar having a conversation. They seem to be occasionally exchanging like comical pirate slang, but
Oh, I thought he wasn't at the place where Connor was.
oh, I thought
That's
you
where
said
I'm
you were
going.
I thought you said you were going to like the restaurant.
No, I'm going back to the tavern where we were staying.
Oh, okay. I misinterpreted what it is you were talking about. There's no like proper tavern in the area. There's like kind of a restaurant and there's like kind of an inn.
He's at the kind of wherever Connor's at is where he's at.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Griv wants to go see what Rand's doing.
Yeah, you open the door and yeah, Connor's in there. Right now, like just the door is open to his personal room in the back, and you can see he's made himself a sandwich. Just by himself. Looks a little bit surprised when you walk in, but surprised in the sense like, oh, okay. Like just for like a second, like, oh, who's there? Oh, it's you. Okay. But yeah, and yeah, Kriv.
I gotta go in a second.
You see. Oh, sorry.
It's okay. I'll go ahead and bail out so you guys can move on. See you later.
Bye.
Gotta go.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, so Kriv, yeah, you go in and you see Ran and the halfling exchanging comical pirate slang.
I'm just gonna
The
like
same
smile.
description as before, but Daxmir was apparently somewhere else, so Kriv is there.
He's gonna like walk past Ryan, give him like a good pat on the shoulder, and order a beer or order some drinks.
All right.
Ron will probably wave and gives a thumbs up.
All right. So, yeah, a couple of drinks over the course of the night. I'm gonna say, since it's not like Rand was doing, where Rand's going out there and going out and deliberately going there for like the sake of having alcohol. I'm gonna say that you probably just had like a 1 silver or maybe a 2 silver package. Probably a 1 silver. I'll say a 1 silver package.
But I've got my 1 gold piece back.
Yeah. After the halfling at the bar told Reg, the bartender, to like put the expenses on his tab, Reg goes and like crosses something out on his receipts and gives you your coin back. So yeah, you and
Probably.
the other
No.
halfling are striking up a conversation. Kriv is on the other side of the bar. The halfling's name is Eric.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask.
Just in case he comes up again, he's his name.
Okay.
It's not like Eric with like a K or like a Y or anything. It's just ERI, just like a normal name. Yeah, the naming scheme that I'm using for halflings is just like human names from our world that have kind of fallen out of fashion. A little bit. I don't see a lot of Erics anymore, but like a lot of the other halflings are using a lot more old-timey names. I decided I'm going to call this one a name that's a little more like, yeah. Like how the halfling the halfling priest at the temple is called Glynis. I've only ever heard of like 2 Glynises ever. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Nah. It's okay. Ran is probably after striking up that conversation, walks off to the inn where he stays, but he climbs to the roof and just look for the stars and
Okay.
sleep there.
All right. You find Damien's spot where Damien was sleeping a couple of nights ago, and you get your own spot next to it and fall asleep on the roof. Later that night, Connor hears like a noise from outside and is going out to check out that noise. It's like, oh no, it's like a little animal or something that went in here. Looks up, sees Rand sleeping on the roof. They have perfectly good beds.
How heavy is Ran of a sleeper?
It's probably like me who technically could sleep like 5 to 6 hours, but if left alone, it could go like 10 hours.
Yeah, because Kriv would just like climb up the onto the roof and just lay down next to Rand, just looking at the stars while he's asleep.
I didn't have a lot of bonding moment with you today.
It's like, you're a good, like he's talking to himself because Rand's asleep. It's like, you're a
Yeah.
good kid. Get yourself in trouble, but a good kid.
It sounded like I was mocking Crib for a bit there. I wasn't intending that.
No,
I
that's
like
fine.
I like how Crib's trying to like bond with everybody in slightly different ways.
Kriv will like sort of make sure Rand's asleep and then start talking about his his childhood. Just because like he wants to get it off his chest, so he'll just be like, I was like, I don't know what yours was like, but bad family. Even worse, village. Things just don't go right. And you find yourself by yourself. And then look where we are. We're all friends.
Can I secretly not sleeping?
No, you'd already established before that Rand was a pretty heavy sleeper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It might it might go in and he might have like a dream about a child Kriv doing something, but it wouldn't be like he remembers when he gets up. You have like a dream you're playing you're playing some kind of sport with Kriv, and Kriv is like 8 years old, but he's very good at the sport despite being so small. It's like, oh no, I'm trying to play fantasy basketball over here, and you're just getting all the dunks. How do you do it? You're so tiny. Or something. I don't know.
Would Rand pull out like his sleeping stuff, or would he just lay down on the roof?
Just lays down the roof.
Kriv
He
will
never
like
cares about his sleep stuff.
Kriv will pull out like his sleeping bag and put it over him as a blanket and just lay down next to him.
All right. So you're out there, just looking out at the stars. It's a pretty clear night. As you're putting the sleeping bag on top of Ran, like a cloud passes over the moon and passes by. There are a couple of people who are going around, going to bed, packing up the day. But a couple of people on this roof before. I think like Tirza went up here after the attack and was like, "Oh, where's look at everybody," and was seeing like everybody coming back, seeing those two Dragonborn sisters hugging, everything like that.
Yeah, Kriv just wanted to look over the city, just watch everyone and smile.
Yeah. Yeah, you see see some people going in and out of the different shops. There are some people finally like leaving the eatery as it seems to be winding down for the day. Horace is headed back from wherever he was, going back into the temple. Seems to be settling in. Despite all the turmoil, seems pretty decent at bouncing back.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is like, despite everything that that's happened in the past and happening now that not everyone knows of, it's not that bad of a city.
Yeah.
Kriv will like pull out his journal and just start writing, and then start like saying what he's writing. So he's like, "Dear Mom, today was fun. We went on a big adventure with the new friends. Got scared a little bit from a weird thing. I'll tell you about it later." And he just keeps going on and just like writing and talking out about his like to his mom, like he's right in front of her.
Are we back? Am I back? Hello?
Yeah, no, I was wondering why I was so quiet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard, like, Dear Mom, I want an adventure with new friends, and then the power went out at my house.
Oh
oof.
no.
Yeah, like, like I said, there was a storm here earlier today, and the power already went out once. It probably hit someplace else and knocked the power out here again. But it was just for, like a couple of seconds, and then it went back on, and then my internet just had to start back up, and my laptop had to connect back to it. So, if Kriv said anything else in that journal entry, I missed all of it after the first, like, sentence following... Not even the first sentence, the first clause following Dear Mom.
Yeah, it was just. I mean, he keeps writing more, but he didn't like. I don't want to. You got a 6'2" dragonborn that's talking to his mom, writing in a journal. It'd be funny if Tears actually was. She was just like stealthily hiding.
So for the end of the day, what do you want Tears to be doing? All right, if you want to. I mean, I was gonna do something else. I was gonna do something else for a bit, like maybe introduce something. But if you wanna just say like, no, I liked having Kriv write his letter at the end. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, most of the exploration of the town has been pretty like utilitarian. Other than other than Lucian wanted to find the chemist's shop because they sell potions and tea, that nobody's really been like going around and trying to just find things. There's not a lot that's like super specialty that's out here yet, but yeah, yeah. Hmm.
If
Yeah.
Tears is looking up at the sky, she might see like Kriv standing up, just like on top of one of the buildings, just looking up at the stars.
And Ran sleeping.
Okay. So, um, yeah. So you're going through some of the areas. Some of them aren't finished. A couple of them are still being cleared out. You make a mental like a sudden recollection that like, oh yeah, still gonna have to go back tomorrow and clear some of the stuff out of these buildings because of the whole court business. Um, quickly kind of push that aside, trying to find some of the other places. Um, there's a shop that's run by a couple of halflings that is like bringing in wood from the forest and refining it into furniture and building materials and things. I had mentioned this is a little bit of a little bit of a tangent, but it's something that a little bit annoyed me. I was mentioning like, oh yeah, there's a shop where you saw some people working on a chair, and then like the next dice camera action, they had this whole like, running joke about ChairCon. I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to bring that place up again. They'll think I'm talking about ChairCon.
Gosh darn you, Chris Perkins.
It would
But
be
it's
a
like-
real walk. Waterdeep is
Yeah.
literally on the other side of the continent. No, Chris Perkins had already set up ChairCon. No, but yeah, it's a matter of like going from here to Waterdeep, like bringing a chair along with you would be like going on foot from like Texas to California.
But with chairs.
The chair has two eyes and it has a mouth in the front. I was cursed to inhabit this form by a sorcerer.
That's a great question, because I was thinking that too.
You know, I just like thought like I was just remembering a voice and I can't remember what that voice was from. So yeah.
It'll come to me at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll be like, oh, that's what it was. Got it. Yeah. I probably will. The thing is, no one else will get it but us four. Because
Exactly.
if I just put, I got it, it was, and then that person, and then everyone else will be like,
Yeah.
what?
I'm pretty sure it was some like the voice of some like classic cartoon character. But I don't know how classic it was. Like maybe it was classic as in like Disney Renaissance, maybe it was classic as in like from the 70s. Mad Hatter, I think. I think it was the Mad Hatter.
Yes, it was. It was Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, I kind of forgot about that one.
Well,
Oh,
if you mean the Tim Burton one by the newer ones, then yeah, I ignore that one anyway. There are plenty of other interpretations of Alice in Wonderland things in other media because it's public domain. Like if I want to see Alice in Wonderland stuff, there are like web series with like, oh, by the way, Wonderland's a whole dimension in here. Or I can play Persona Q and it's like, by the way, Wonderland is the first dungeon in the game. The card soldiers, yeah, they're these giant bosses who wander around. If you're not high level enough, they will annihilate you. So you got to do their puzzles. Never played that one, but yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Tears is going around looking at the places. You see there's a bearded halfling putting the last touches, like sanding some things off of a chair he's working on. And overall, yeah, most of the places around here seem like they're just trying to build things up, trying to make like nothing that seems terribly like specialty at this point. Not like nothing like a used bookstore or anything yet, because like not enough people have moved in that they've got used books to sell to the used bookstore. But I mean, there's probably going to be some people like around who have books you can borrow, and there's one area like next to the administrative building that seems to be like there's a sign out front with iconography that kind of looks like it's a local library. I don't know how well stocked that is. It's closed for the night, but 50 Shades of Turtle. Oh, all right.
oh, 50 Shades.
It's not even a very good pun. They just put the word turtle in there at the end. Turtlelite? Alright. At least a slightly better pun.
Everything in the store is just turtle something or something turtle.
No, it's just that like this universe's version of Twilight was about turtles instead of vampires. Because in the Dungeons and Dragons universe, writing about a vampire is like writing about like a wild rabid coyote. Like they're real things that can actually hurt you, but turtles are nice. Anyway. That my first pull for something that somebody would rent from a library in the middle of the night was 50 Shades of Grey. It wasn't even a pun. I just put the word turtle at the end. I called myself on it immediately because that was terrible.
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah. But as you're going in and looking up close at the library, seeing that it's closed, you turn around and just for a second, you see there's like a hunched over winged shape on top of one of the buildings, and as you look around and try and get a closer look at it, it kind of goes out of focus and vanishes. You could get a decent look at it, but not in the sense that it's getting dark, and you couldn't really like tell any specific facial features of it. But it was a small figure, about like slightly larger than the red Krung is, with kind of a gargoyle-like stance to the way it was holding itself. You saw it like perched on the roof opposite next to where the local library was, looking over at you, and then as you're seeing it, the shape disappears. Roughly. Like I said, kind of gargoyle-like.
Gargoyle.
Yeah, I was actually like considering. um, yeah, you could climb up the side if you want. It's a little bit unfinished, or you can go into one of the areas and ask somebody for a ladder if you want. People tend to keep their ladders inside at night. It means there's less burglary, but okay. All right. I'm not going to say that you need to make like a check. I was tempted for a bit there, but no, you've got time. It's not a matter of like you're trying to go in there immediately, and I mean it is immediately, but it's not a matter of like you're just rushing up there. Like, oh no, you gotta like right this second. Oh, okay. Um, well, if you're going to be rushing up there, I'm going to say make a stealth check. It's not going to be a hard stealth check, but I'm going to like make a stealth check. See if you can keep from waking up the person inside.
Good rolls, please.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah, you got it. if there was any sort of movement from inside the house, it wasn't any sort of movement where they were like, "Oh, what's going on?" and then go outside. Like maybe for a bit, like roused in their sleep, but whoever it was doesn't notice you. So you go up there, you look around, and as you're going around, you see just absolutely no sign that anything was like ever up here at all. And it wasn't an illusion, at least you don't think so. No reason for something to be an illusion of something to be right there and then vanish immediately. But oh, whatever it was seemed to be um, fairly interested in you in particular. Whatever that situation was. Yeah. Either just completely gone or otherwise completely undetectable at this point. Like you probably at some point like swing a foot across the area where it was standing or something like that, and there's nothing there. Everything's there that was there earlier. Yeah, Daxmir might be in there, just maybe like finishing up a sandwich or something from Connor, but nobody else is like, gonna strike up a conversation with you immediately. I mean, unless you want to go and strike up a conversation with Daxmir, in which case, like, probably want to do that, like, I don't know, in the Google Docs, because I don't want to speak for Daxmir. No, no, I don't want to have a conversation between Tirza and Daxmir without, Ryujin Zero's knowledge of the fact that a conversation between you two happened. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe at some point in the end, like take out like an innocuous thing, like a toothbrush or something. Like, oh, here's where that thing is. Like, act like it was what you were doing the whole time. I could guess. I know what Tears' methodologies would probably be because I've I've done a little bit of that sort of thing myself. All right. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Tirza falls asleep. Daxmere falls asleep. Kriv, I'm guessing, eventually falls asleep. Ran is
Yeah.
already asleep. Lucian probably goes back to the inn a few minutes after Tirza gets there. Falls asleep. Damien probably like climbs on Relcon's roof and falls asleep. Just guessing, but likely it's in character.
Sleeps with mittens.
No,
Oh yeah.
that would be stressful for Relcon to have his cat outside all night.
Oh yeah. And the night ends.
On one hand, it's kind of adorable if she brings back like a dead bird or something, because like, oh, Mittens, you gave me a gift, thank you. On the other hand, it's like, oh no, Mittens is lost. The one cat in town, where did she go?
Yeah. Like a town with only one cat is, strange. Because my city has loads of cats.
Not a lot of
Fake.
pets. It's early days. They don't even have like a lot of the specialty things that would be open. Nobody's bringing in like, hey, here you go. Here's all the rare random animals. You want an almirage? It's like a rabbit, but it's got a unicorn horn.
Oh, I want that.
I mean, they exist. If you go back to the big city, if you go back to Chivanda, they've got all kinds of animals. Probably got like one of the world's biggest pet stores out there. You want a reticulated python? How about a reticulated python with a head at both ends?
Big snack, little snack.
But yeah, Relcon brought Mittens out here, so he's taking special care of her, and it's more of a matter of like, oh good, he's doing a good job, he's being a good pet owner, rather than like, oh man, a cat. Now everybody in town is going to want a cat. Cats are the new craze because like like cats are great, but if the town itself is like yet to be fully established, it's not really cat infrastructure yet.
Do they have like mice problems there?
It's really too new and too like distinctly formed of a community to really have any sort of immediate rodent problems. Also, most of these buildings don't have basements.
Because the standard carriers must like have rats, one rat or two rats or something that slips by. Oh yeah.
Like there might be rats around, but in the city at this point, not really enough that it would be like we got to bring in a bunch of cats to eat these rats. And then what do you bring in when the cats get out of control? Do you bring in birds to eat the cats? Then you bring in an old lady to eat the birds because she swallowed a fly and she's like, I got to get something out of here. Bring dogs to eat the cats? Or bring in dogs to eat the old lady?
You bring in dogs to eat both.
There was an old lady who swallowed a fly and then she got eaten by dogs. What an end to that story. Perhaps she'll die. Oh wait, she already did.
It's like third
Um,
page of the book. It's just like, oh. I was like, I think they changed it.
Let the Berenstein Bears get eaten by dogs? Like the cover of the book is like Mama, Brother, and Sister Bear like cradling Papa Bear's body. Like the ambulance is coming in. There's like a concerned looking bear in the back. It's got a stretcher. You're the one who brought up getting eaten by dogs. And the Berenstein Bears. All right, all right.
I really want to see all the other people's reactions to if they go back and watch the VOD and just have all this, if it's still going.
Yeah, this like after the whole thing where like everybody falls asleep, this is mostly just been like I haven't officially ended the session. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna officially end the session. So now that's where we stop for the night, with everybody falling asleep and with us having a lengthy conversation about why there's just one cat.
Berenstein Bears.